Hey everybody! Welcome back to Northernlion Plays The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. We're gonna hit random. Random! Sorry, it's a reference to I Think You Should Leave. I mean, here's the thing. Yeah, I've been referencing it for a long time, and hey, thank you for the subscription. 3E97TSTE. I need another show to come along and capture my attention. The Expanse has been doing a good job, I'll admit. But, you know, I mean, Season 3 now, people have stopped calling each other Beltalotas all the time. There was about a couple weeks where on Discord I was like, hey, what do you want to play on the stream today? Beltalota. And then they go, a game that's bad. And I go, you freaking, Kolpang. It's Belter speak. You wouldn't understand if you haven't seen the show. But now there's less of that and there's more space-related stuff. It's not as quotable as saying, well, nobody wants it. I'll grab that hot dog car. Random. Still waiting. I've been watching, I mean, not very much television, to be honest. My television consumption is this. 90 Day Fiancé. That's 2 hours a week. It's not that much time. Plus, it usually takes me like 5 days to actually watch all 2 hours. And it's the most dramatic show on television, so I respect it a great deal. 15 minutes of The Expanse before bed. I leave myself an hour, but I just get so tired. Like Marge Simpson, you know? I've been drinking a glass of wine a day. I know you're supposed to drink a glass and a half, but I just can't drink that much. I get too sleepy before the end just because of when I watch it. And then apart from that, you know, Canucks games. So it's not a staggering amount of television consumption, but I've been trying to find new stuff, but I'm my own worst enemy. Like, I think I might have watched the first episode of one of the worst television programs of all time last night. It's a new Netflix show called The Circle. The way I would describe it is it's like Big Brother if Big Brother didn't take place in person and exclusively took place over social media. And I know you're going, how does that work? That sounds like it sucks. Yeah. I put it on because Kate and I were making dumplings. It's like a Korean New Year's food and tradition to make, you know, mandu or, you know, mandu guksu and stuff like that. So, you know, we were hand making these. Thought, hey, just put on something mindless. This was not a show that was mindless. My mind was not in a neutral position by the end. This show is, it's a mind sucker. I had lost a little bit of gray matter by the time it finished. I would not recommend it. It's not even so bad it's good. It's just very, in my opinion, hey, maybe, I don't know. I haven't seen the reviews yet. Maybe it's got 100 on Metacritic, but it might well be the most boring and perhaps even pointless show I've ever seen in my entire life. And well, I don't know. A lot of Netflix shows are like that. I do like Netflix, but they're really screwing up the game shows stuff. Like, they did one, I forget what it was called, like, you know, something to do with strength. And it was like, you know, these people, it's kind of like a Biggest Loser sort of thing, which is a show where people compete to lose weight, but combined with, you know, like obstacle courses and stuff like that, combined with, like, you know, extreme home makeover. So it's like people that were not in a good place on a fitness level were paired with, like, personal trainers, and then it was just messy and muddled. And they made a show called Awake, which was kind of like an interesting concept that they managed to make boring as sin. I wonder if it's the same company doing all of these, because I think they got some work to do. The way Awake worked was like people would stay awake for 24 hours. They forced them to stay awake, do menial tasks that are boring, like, you know, count $25,000 worth of pennies, and, you know, whoever's furthest away from the correct amount goes home. Then they had them, like, thread a bunch of needles and stuff like that, and I was like, it's one of those things where you know, one night in your basement in college talking with your friends, you know, you might have been like, hey, you know, it'd be a sick game show? What if you, like, kept people awake for, like, 36 hours just to see how bad they got at meaningless tasks? But it didn't really translate too well. I'm telling, and then the circle, I don't even understand it, dude. I really think if Netflix wants to make a game show, like, I don't know if I should give them The Secret. Because I feel like it's like too easy, right? Maybe they don't know. Just rip off Jeopardy. Just make a good trivia game show. People that watch game shows are already kind of nerdy. They have an insatiable appetite for trivia. I know that because I'm one of them. If you just make like a knockoff Jeopardy. Why it's always the... if I have any complaint about modern game shows, in my opinion, they try to... And I'm a big game show fan. Like, I grew up watching the Game Show Network on summer vacation at my grandma's house. And I don't say that braggadocious because it's extremely dorky and honestly some of the most, like, transient possible content on planet Earth. Well, there's no reason not to. I don't really think we have a big desire to spend on Brother Bobby there, though. I guess there is a reason not to, right? Like, doesn't Box of Friends work every 4 rooms? But still, I think it's well worth it, because I don't use it every 4 rooms. Well, just go ahead and hit me. Not twice, though. Not twice. They always try to add in, like, some kind of edgy aspect to it that is just weird. They're always like, what if we had Jeopardy? And you're like, stop drilling, you hit oil. And they're like, no, what if we had Jeopardy, but the contestants were forced to starve before they participated? I don't want to see that. I just want to get questions right the contestants got wrong and be like, well, if I was there, I would have won $50,000. I don't want to bring all this, you know, hey, what if they have to answer questions while they get electrocuted? I don't want that. If you're not going to make a pure game show, maybe don't make it at all. That's my 2 cents on the subject. Good use of the world card, NL. Very, very strong play right there. All this being said, I think this is it's a good run so far. Let Bumbo take some of the capital here. So the thing is, Bumbo is going to be very beneficial for us when powered up, especially because we're going to, you know, add another Bumbo. We're going to get a little Bumbo plus anytime we press the spacebar with our item fully charged. I got no problem with... The thing is, I don't know, it's like I've struggled to find a way to talk about this. I want more TV shows that are like the Binding of Isaac series. You know, if you miss 100 episodes of Isaac, I hope you know, first off, that you're dead to me. You're dead in my eyes. And you're not welcome back. No, I hope you know that you can always rejoin the series and you've missed nothing. Like nothing at all. Basically. Maybe you missed a little streak or something like that. And some goofs, some gaffes, and a lot of laughs. But it's not a show where, you know, there's like a storyline that you need to stay invested in. I want more shows that are like mindless content that you can put on at any time. Because anytime I'm like, there's nothing to watch, people always hit you with what they should hit you with, which is a series of incredibly great recommendations for television, because we live in a relative golden age of prestige TV. Watch Dark. Watch The Good Place. Well, you still got Better Call Saul Season 4 to figure out. Once you finish that, you know, why don't you watch The Wire? You've never seen The Wire? Well, you never finished 6 Feet Under, huh? That would be a good... No, that's not what I want, because those are like the shows that are an obligation. You know, you have to get, and you can't help but get emotionally invested in it. What I want is like, oh, that's on? I haven't seen 30 episodes. You know, he's got a new girlfriend. That's the show. Like, this is not a fair example, but Seinfeld is like, it's a perfect example for me of the kind of show I'm looking for. You don't need to know anything about what... Like, you can turn on an episode of Seinfeld, and, you know, you really can't avoid it if you live in North America. It's on TV 24/7. It's dicey, but I'm going to do it. I do not regret it. I'm not going to suck it up, but I do not regret it because it's a guppy item. But what I was looking for was stuff to power up the Bumbus here, but that's okay. If we miss an item room, hey, we got Guppy's head. That's a pretty okay payout. But, you know, they could show you an episode from Season 2 and then show you an episode from Season 8, and they'll have no continuity whatsoever, and it doesn't matter. That's what I'm looking for. I mean, I have been watching the show on History Channel, and by watching, I mean I watched one episode a week ago called, like, Forged in Fire, and it's, I think we want to suck that up. Yeah, let's do that. It's a very unusual show. It's a show where amateur blacksmiths from throughout America forge their own weapons and then go through an obstacle course. It's on the History Channel, as one would expect, I suppose. They go through an obstacle course designed to test the strength, you know, chopping power, resilience, etc., of their homemade blade. It's hosted by a legendary WCW wrestler and also the star of the greatest Christmas horror film ever made, Santa's Sleigh, Bill Goldberg. That show's been a wild time. It's just something about, like, it's the way it's, and I don't know anything about this side of the earth, right? Like, I don't know anything about hand-to-hand medieval weapon combat, right? But the obstacle course they have set up is hilarious to me. Like, the first part of it was like, you gotta cut through 3 things. You gotta cut through a PVC pipe filled with gravel. You gotta cut through a 2x4. And you gotta cut through a bamboo, what would you call it? A bamboo spear? It's not really a shoot, is it? Isn't the shoot like the processed version? Anyway, I don't know. But the thing is, you know, you gotta do that. Then they're like, he's moving on to the double chicken. And then you got a string, well, let's call it it's a rope, I guess. And like 2 uncooked whole chickens, you know, with the defeathered, are just on it. And then you got 1 swipe to chop it up. Then after that, it's like, he's moving on to the PVC pipe. And they're talking about it as if it's like, and I know, I don't want to gatekeep or delegitimize it, okay? Because I don't know how legitimate it is. This might be a thing that I'm just not familiar with. They do keep saying the word blade sports as if it's like something I should know about. I recognize the irony as somebody whose favorite sport is ice hockey. But, you know, they have this analysis as if it's like common sense. That why on earth did Gabriel take a downward strike angle on the PVC pipe? He should have known his blade was just gonna ricochet right off of it. It's a weird show. I do like weird shows, though. I like that one-off sort of show where, well, not really one-off, like I want it to last forever, but those shows where if you miss an episode, it doesn't matter. I don't want a show where it's like you fall asleep halfway through I want like 2 shows a year where if you fall asleep halfway through an episode, you want to watch the whole episode again to see what happened. Most of my, like if I'm editing a video, I know it's a new era. Or, you know, something along those lines. I just want something mindless where I'm like, that's why I watch a lot of like Drugs, Inc. I can't believe that show's made by National Geographic of all outlets, but it's like the most... Every episode of that show is exactly the same. And that's why it's great mindless entertainment. You fall asleep halfway through a Drugs, Inc. episode, you're like, yeah, what happened? Oh, he got high. And turns out there's still a fentanyl problem. They didn't solve it by the end of the episode. Weird things to laugh at. We're gonna stick with Wheel of Fortune for now. This is a big floor for us. This is a floor where it would be very advantageous for us to get that deal with the devil. I think, you know, I've taken a lot of damage, and not unproductively, but I've taken enough damage that I would think we got to be getting close to a Cambion Conception hit. And I'm hoping Bumbo's gonna, you know, reach senescence soon. You know, he's gonna be at a level where he's mature and he knows what he wants, instead of just standing at the doorway, you know, yeeting bullets at whoever walks in. Did you transform there? I couldn't tell. And with Void, we're playing it real strategic with Void right now, which is always dangerous when, you know, I'm the one driving the bus. The way that we're trying to use Void right now is, hey, you know, if it's an active, we probably don't care unless it's one of the best actives in the game. If it's a passive and it sucks, use it. Otherwise, save it for the boss, you know? We could use the damage bonus right now, mostly to keep our HP as high as possible. But you know, one key, in many ways, is the perfect amount of keys. Don't stand there. Don't stand there. You know what I would like to see, though? More freaking bombs, dude. Like, this is... I really think this floor is going to determine whether this is the kind of Lilith run that makes me angry or the kind of Lilith run that makes me go, why don't I play as Lilith more? It's a lot of fun. Because we're probably on the verge, and in particular, this is the most important part, I think. We're on the verge of the next Cambion Conception playout. If we get a Succubus, if we get a second Incubus, if we get a little Brim, you know, we're sitting pretty. There are a lot of garbage options, to be fair. And, you know, the Bumbo payout as well would be super nice. Anyway. I'm in no way starved for entertainment right now, but... I'm excited for the new year. You know? New year, it's always like, it's a little exciting. At the end of 2019, things become crystallized, you know? We know what the best movies of the year are. It's Parasite, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think we will just take the 5 bombs. And we definitely do want Hairpin, I think. I'm just going based on, like, you know, what's getting the most accolades, you know? The Irishman, Marriage Story, etc., etc. In 2020, brother, there's no idea. For all I know, that Robert Downey Jr. Dr. Dolittle movie might end up being the greatest movie of the year. It definitely would be a surprise based on the fact that I've seen about 3,000 trailers for it, and it looks like garbage, but that movie it has a staggering amount of talent invested in it. At least on the acting side. You know who's in that? First off, Robert Downey Jr., Emma Thompson, Jim Broadbent, Octavia Spencer, Tom Holland. Like, there are, like, I guess you wouldn't call it Ralph Fiennes, you know? I don't know if you'd call them all A-listers, but I think they're all A-listers. There's like 7 to 8 Academy Award nominated / Academy Award winning actors and actresses in Dolittle. And, you know, what's their role? They're like, oh, I'm playing, I don't know, a pelican that's always thirsty. It's truly frightening to me. I mean, it's bizarre. I shouldn't say it's frightening. What you're supposed to do when you make a kids movie, you don't get Octavia Spencer. We're not going to be able to get a battery charge out of this, so we might as well just take it. What you do is you take someone like Dua Lipa. She's got a couple of songs under her belt. She's very popular with the Zoomer audience. And hasn't been in films yet, so she's not going to be too expensive, you know? You give her a chance to have a breakout role that also, you know, plays with your predominant demographic, and you go from there. You don't go, excuse me, Meryl Streep, here's $35 million to voice Angela, the angry anteater in the Dolittle movie. Now, I'm talking in a very convincing fashion as if I have any idea of how the movie business works. I do not at all. And it is rich for me to, well, I'm not criticizing the actors and actresses, I want to be clear. I'm more like looking at the production side and going like, this must have cost you a fortune in casting. But let me tell you, there is nobody on planet Earth that is like, oh, I really loved Octavia Spencer's work. You know, she was so good as a supporting actress in The Shape of Water. I gotta go see Dolittle. Those people do not exist. So it's just strange to me. That's why, you know, you look at the Ugly Dolls movie. That's why they got Pitbull, dude. Nobody knows if Pitbull can act. He probably didn't charge him an arm and a leg. They were like, Pitbull, here's $750,000. We want you to voice an ugly dog. He went, Dale. And I would go Dale in a heartbeat, for the record. Might as well suck it up. We're slowly... Yikes. Fool judgment. Slowly constructing a decent run. But statistically, not in a great spot right now. I mean, even Robert Downey Jr. So, like, I get it, you know, if you're making this movie, it's coming out in January. I know the gif. F you, it's January. Red Letter Media didn't invent the concept of bad movies coming out in January. It's been one of those universal truths as long as I've been alive on this, you know, God's green earth. But, you gotta have... I see their point in having a big star anchor the movie. Yo, we got Little Brim. Fantastic news. But even still, I was looking at it. Kate was like, because the trailer played 1,000 times during like the last Canucks game we watched, I think. Kate was like, how much do you think he got paid for that movie? And I was like, I know he got paid, I don't know, for Avengers he was getting paid a staggering amount of money, but you can't get paid Avengers money, you know, for non-Avengers movies. There's no way this movie has the same kind of budget that something like Endgame or Infinity War has. So I was like, I don't know, I bet it's in like the high single millions. Nope, I'm dumb. He got paid $20 million for Doolittle. It's, I mean, I'm getting a little too about the movie business, which again is a business I do not understand. But I'm like, man, sure, Robert Downey Jr., he's gonna be a draw for you. I think we should take it. Do kids love Robert Downey Jr.? I think Robert Downey Jr. probably has incredible recognition among kids, for sure. I'm gonna suck it up. I have no regrets. We got a card out of it as well. Hold on. Hold on. This is important. Judgment. We have 2 HP now as well. But how are you gonna... Like, that movie is not gonna make enough money at the box office to pay all the stars. You got like 20 stars in that movie. You gotta look to Champions of Fire 2017, dude. You gotta buy low. Pokimane before she exploded on Twitch, Choco Bars before she exploded on Twitch, Hafu before the release of Auto Chess. They couldn't afford that cast now. Now they could probably afford to invite me back. I'll work for scraps. I don't know, dude. Hollywood, I was reminded yesterday because like Men in Black International was on TV. And I watched a little bit of it, but I was like, not because I thought it was good, let's put it that way. I was like, man, this is like one of the most average movies I've ever seen. Carried, if it's carried in any way, carried by the chemistry and the innate Commonwealth charm of Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson, who apparently work on every project together now. Which is cool. I'm not complaining. Creed 3, Michael B. Jordan fights an Australian boxer. All I could think to call him, because they always have names, you know, like Mason the Line Dixon, is Kangaroo Jack. All right? I apologize, Australia. I'm not trying to punch you when you're down. God bless. I'm just saying. I'm saying I could have easily not said it. I'm getting one more here. The reason I said it is because I wanted to reflect poorly on me because it's what I deserve. Don't hit me twice. Hit me once, shame on me. Won't get hit again. Where was I going with that? Oh, yeah, because there was okay, we obviously do not want that yet. There were tweets from, like, the screenwriter of Men in Black 1, who's like, man, it's wild that, Men in Black, you know, came out 23 years ago, inspired, 2 direct sequels that made decent money, an animated cartoon on the Disney Channel, you know, it multiple, like, top 10 Billboard singles for the franchise, and also inspired a reboot this year. And then every time I get my profit statement from whatever the distributor was, they keep telling me that the movie has consistently lost money, and as a result, I don't get paid you know, dividends on the gross. It's like, man, that's... I mean, I've heard of the concept of Hollywood accounting before. The fact that a movie like Men in Black, which was like one of 1997 or 1998's biggest hits and went on to become like, I don't want to call it a cultural touchstone, like it's, you know, like the Bible. But I just mean, you know, it's a movie that if you were like, hey, what's one of the best movies of the 90s? You would, if someone said, I really like Men in Black, you wouldn't be like, that's ridiculous. You would be like, of course, everybody's seen it, and, you know, Will Smith's affable good nature and roguish charm does a lot, you know, paired with Tommy Lee Jones' assumed stoicness. If Men in Black can't, well, we should just be using this, right? See what you get. High Priestess. If Men in Black isn't making you money, something's gone terribly wrong, right? Like it's a scam. And then Duncan Jones was in there talking about, you know, he directed Moon, is probably his most famous, also the Warcraft movie. But he directed Source Code, which was like his post-Moon follow-up, and he's like, yeah, you know, it had a $30 million budget, and it made $100 million at the box office, and yet every time I get a profit statement, it says it's been losing money for years, even though I've seen it on TV 35 times. It's wild, dude. Why aren't they being, like, audited non-stop? That seems criminal. I'm not trying... You know, I think they're still doing pretty well for themselves, but that's not really the point, you know? I mean, maybe it's not my fight to take. That's getting sucked, brother. Okay, give me these. Two of Hearts is getting yeeted into the stratosphere. This run is straddling the line completely. It is neither amazing nor terrible, but it's not too far away from being amazing. The thing mostly holding us back is our own damage, which is not translating very well to Incubus right now. Man, it is also super unfortunate. I did not realize that when you box of friends Bumbo, if he's at max level, they just create another Bumbo, but at base level. So it's like I'm creating a coin vacuum every time. Not great. Okay, the key is nice. I mean, honestly, we could spend on keys on this floor. Like, we could open those other chests back there. Yikes, that's a bummer. And, like, the other thing, did I mention that our health is holding us back? Because that's kind of... that's on the list. Don't... my brain almost had me walk into that. I felt it. Not much going on there. It's another one I think we'd like to suck up. And I'm very happy to be using Void as much as possible right now. Really wanted them dead, thank God. Because, you know, when we use Void as much as possible, why don't you go ahead and get that one? A little dicey for my taste. We're also getting more cards. We're really looking for, like, you know, the Hierophant is the most beautiful choice. Devil is okay, but we're also getting, we got the stat increase there. Damage is still a little underwhelming, but we're doing okay. So today, I don't have a huge backlog in Isaac relative to, you know, where it's been at some points in the past. You know, today's only January 2nd. I took January 1st off for my New Year's resolution. Well, sort of. I got a few New Year's resolutions. The one I was going to talk about is, you know, I have probably the most common New Year's resolution, which is weight loss. But it's a little different than my usual weight loss resolution. You know, instead of being some kind of nebulous, like, you know, just get in shape, which is what I did last year. It's more like, you know, lose specifically, like, around 15 pounds while preserving as much muscle mass as possible. So I went for a little bit of a run today, just a couple miles. And I don't mean that to sound like a humble brag, but when I say just a couple miles, in 2014, before I tore my meniscus, like, I was running... I was probably running at least 30 miles a week. I was running 10K, which is 6 miles, roughly. A minimum of 3 times a week. Usually like 5 times a week. And sometimes going a little bit longer than that, or even a lot longer than that. So, it was, you know, after I injured my knee, I completely fell out of it. But I still got that, you know, there's a little bit of muscle memory there. But, dude, I gotta tell you, went for that run today. My legs hurt in ways that they have not hurt for a while. Like, I'm used to muscle pain, particularly, like, in my quads and hamstrings from squatting and deadlifting, but... Oh, we might as well use it. Okay, here's the thing. I'm gonna do it, because I wanna see if maybe we can get a spirit heart, but... we probably will not. No, fake Bumbo, you don't get to take my coins, please. I wonder if we could turn him into a real Bumbo. No spirit hearts, but that's alright. That was a strong play by my standards. Yikes to the extreme. We cannot get hit. So just stay frosty here. Anyway, let me finish the bit just in case we die. Basically... Yikes. Basically what I was going to say is my tendons are so screwed up right now. It's been a long time. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm gonna take this Emperor card and use it on the next floor. Because we have a 100% deal with the devil chance. But first, I did kind of want to see if we got a chance, maybe, at a second secret room that could save us. Okay, so this room's got me panicked right now. Just due to the orange fires. So just stay cool for a second here. I don't expect anything great, but... And the golden bomb is very who cares energy. But okay. We will shoot the fires, like that's how desperate I am right now. I think it is still in our best interest to try to beat Mom's heart without getting hit. Get a deal with the devil that hopefully contains some form of survivability and move on. Anyway, big ups to people doing their New Year's resolution stuff right now is what I was going to say. Have a good time and don't let the naysayers get you down, you know? A lot of people who want to feel smarter than the populace at large. Enjoy your New Year's resolution. Can't wait for you to fail it in a week. Do you think that makes you intelligent? To, you know, point out that people usually don't stick to stuff? Trying and failing is more valuable than being right. And remember that as I've died on this episode. For now, though, that's an acceptable death, but it does hurt a little. Hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It's a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I will see you next time. See ya.